Welcome to Perfect Contracting Success Stories. Innovation meets precision.
People underestimate the work that goes into heavy demolition.
As we tackle three of the toughest sites in the inner west.
It was an engineering feat.
You can't just set up a crane.
With demolition and deconstruction. This is Perfect Contracting for the Sydney Metro West project. This is no ordinary demolition. It's the final chapter of one of the largest infrastructure projects in Australian history. Sydney Metro West, underground rail stretching 24 kilometres between the CBD and Westmead, with twin tunnels carved deep below the city.
An industrial port soon to be unlocked as a new neighbourhood.
These tunnel boring beasts needed space, and that's where the Acoustic spoil sheds came in, towering above live station boxes at the Bays, Five Dock and Burwood, amongst dense suburban streets. These massive steel structures were built to contain dust, debris and noise, so tunnelling could continue 24 hours a day, right next to homes, schools and cafes.
We're working for Acciona Ferrovial joint venture. They need a contractor to come in and deliver this project with minimum impact to the environment and general public.
It was a very tricky tender process because of the complexity of what was involved. We just made their problem our problem. We presented them with a 3D model for all of the structures that were to be dismantled. A lot of stakeholders involved. It was challenging to resource and stay on top of it all. Our senior project manager definitely had a lot in his hands.
24 hours sometimes is not enough to get what you need to get done. Even as a collective, it's still not enough time.
It was a lot of workshopping going around back and forth before we started this job.
It took us a lot of long nights. The complexity intensifies.
I loved watching them. They had a lot of emotions, often arguing what type of machinery they wanted to use, what type of crane they wanted to use. 650 would be quicker, but more expensive.
To get through it, you just have to knuckle down, do what it takes.
And I think this was also what made this project successful.
Each one has its own engineer, own team, own site supervisor. They all run concurrently.
Perfect Contracting can rely on their history with the client to demonstrate that we do have the capability, in-house engineering, confidence that we can deliver all three sites at the same time.
I guess the concerns were the proximity to neighbouring buildings and structures and traffic.
With tunnelling completed and the next phase of the project underway, the sheds had to go, without disruption to the local community or delay to the program. Done safely, quietly and precisely, while other trades worked below and Sydney kept moving. Perfect Contracting reverse engineered the process to strip these structures away with zero impact and absolute control to make way for the stations that will transform how Sydney lives, moves and connects.
Using the high-reach machine, introducing some induced collapses of the walls and dropping them in a controlled manner eliminates us having to put men at risk of cutting and trying to demolish the structure.
Let us take it.
When we were told that we cannot use hammers on top of the slab, we had to come up with a way that had no vibrations, because if there's no vibrations, nothing's going to affect the culvert under it. A road saw has negligible vibrations, same thing with a wire saw. We went away from anything that caused any damage to the culvert. They were able to put up vibration monitors and it ticked all the boxes for them.
When I first looked at it, straight away there were big challenges.
James Vurry, the Senior Demolition Supervisor, is tasked with coordinating day-to-day deconstruction, crane lifts and keeping the entire site running safely and on schedule. He's also the newest member of the Perfect Contracting team.
Happy to be here. Been over 20 years worth of experience doing this sort of work. Just to see the tunnelling work in full operation, it's very exciting.
It's very important to the local community. Actually, it will make their life easier. They're going to have a station here, easy access to all the way around the city.
Scope of our works is to pull down this acoustic shed. The challenge that we have here is that we have to maintain the tunnelling operation at the same time, allowing the guys to work underneath by handing over certain parts of the area for them to work, with exclusion zones for us to work.
So when we've got cranes lifting all these panels off, and in the afternoon about 12, 1 o'clock, it just picks up and it's really strong. So potentially going to be what's going to slow us down a bit.
Once you've got access to your work area and everyone's out of your way, you find efficiencies throughout your job. Without cutting corners, you'll just start seeing that there's a more efficient way of doing the works.
On a project like this, cranes weren't just tools, they were lifelines. From a 200-tonne workhorse to a 650-tonne heavy lifter, every crane was carefully selected based on radius, load weight and site constraints.
You can't just set up a crane, it doesn't just pop up here and start working. There's a process to it. At the Bays project, we spent 3 days setting up a 650, where we done 2 days of work and then we packed up in 2 days.
We had to be fluid enough to be able to pivot when there was an opportunity.
Lifting up an element of a structure, that's one thing, but there's a lot of things going around which have to be right for the crane to be actually set up. Geological testing is done. Geotechnical engineer needs to work with structural engineer and the crane company and the contractor and us to actually come up with an effective solution to be able to lift a heavy element from the structure.
80 kPa is our current capacity. So we've been working excessively with board just to ensure that it comes under even when we're lifting something up.
With weeks of pre-lift planning, engineering reviews, exclusion zones and ground pressure checks, some lifts required up to 10 meetings, with every move choreographed with precision. And guiding much of that work is Trevor.
Approximately 2 weeks ahead of program at the moment, all thanks to James.
A quiet leader now wrapping up his final week with the Perfect Contracting team.
When you're my boss, be kind to her. Okay. If him that say yes I will, say yes I will.
It allowed for extra planning for the guys down below as well, because we had way more control over the pace of the job. With the increased speed of our works, we could monitor even more accurately our exclusion zones to allow all the other works to work.
Across multiple sites, tight timelines and live station boxes, this was more than demolition. It was careful, calculated deconstruction. Reverse engineered to protect the public, support the client and make way for something bigger. Every project has its unsung heroes, and while the cranes might do the heavy lifting, it's the people who truly carry the weight.
Being able to stop a certain task, reevaluate it, change a methodology, run it through all the right channels, try again, and then to succeed was great.
I'm proud to be delivering this project because this project will change Sydney.
Historically for the company, it was major. Showcasing that the first time wasn't a fluke, doing it a second time round is a major confidence boost.
Next time on Perfect Contracting Success Stories, we visit Corrimal, 100-year-old cokeworks.
Accurate coke separation.
We were contracted to come in and remediate heavily contaminated site while still maintaining all the heritage structures.